obviously not the biggest day in your life in terms of the grander scheme, but in terms of horse racing, it's probably up there. So, and we've touched, you've done well to sort of tease little parts, and now I get to ask all the questions back to back, so that's quite good. So we were talking about the atmosphere of crowds and how things like that. What was the crowd like on Grand National Day? Like when you're racing up the hill for the Roar, what stuff like that?
Well, certainly coming up the home straight, the end of the Grand National was, I don't really remember it. Everything was a blur. Everything, I was in disbelief. I have no recollection of it. You know, like when we're talking about autopilot on the motorway, that is the best way to describe it. I just cannot remember it. Obviously, I can watch the video back, and it, even now when I watch it, I don't believe that it's me. I truly don't believe it's me. But what you get from watching it is that the crowd were very quiet because they didn't know who I was. They didn't know who the horse was. I suppose they were watching going, who the hell is this? Who's just won the Grand National? So they were very quiet. But one thing you notice on the big days is just the constant noise. Not necessarily the massive cheers, but it's just the constant atmosphere and the constant noise. And it makes everything so much more tense. You know, it makes the horses tense. It makes the riders tense. Just it gives you that sense of like something huge is going to happen. And of course, those big races, that's what it is. It's something huge. Somebody somewhere is going to enter the history books, and that's kind of what it's all about. And the massive crowd that's what creates that intense atmosphere.
Wow, you talk a good question there is obviously horses are not stupid animals by any stretch of the imagination, but do they sort of realize that something big is about to happen as well? Can you feel it in the horse?
Yeah, well, they're not, horses aren't necessarily intelligent animals, but they feel everything, you know. They feel everything that the jockey's feeling, and you know, and they feel everything out with, you know. So the massive big days, like they can really push a horse the other way. Like if you've got a horse that's excitable, they can lose the race before they even get to the start. You know, if it's a massive crowd and a massive atmosphere, it can really push them over the edge. It's something that you need a very, very calm horse for. The more calm they are in the preliminaries, the better.
Is that why they always tell you not to go for the horse that's jumping around, swiping its head up and down?
Yeah, the one that's throwing itself around is generally run before the race has started. So yeah, it's not worth. It doesn't always happen like that, but yeah, it's usually not worth it.
I was gonna say that horse is as happy as everybody else to be there. That's what I take from it.
No, that horse has got anxiety issues. That's.
So I want to know, what's the jockey's room like specifically before the national? Because we're talking about 2013, like, and we're going on about these superstitions. Is there like a special embrace that everybody has? Do you have like, I don't know if a team huddle is the thing you do in the weighing room, but does everybody have like a go out and be safe type thing? Or
yeah, the atmosphere is strangely different before the Grand National, because it is the biggest, most dangerous race there is, and suddenly everyone's a lot nicer. Like everyone's nice, but you know, like everyone, there's like a sense of mutual, like real mutual respect between everybody. You know, and everybody's saying best of luck, you know, and you know, it's really a race that you really are you're sort of in it together. Like certainly beforehand, it's a strange togetherness. It's hard actually to explain. It's something that you just, you know, you feel when you're in there, and certainly everybody becomes a bit more intense, and you know, like your quiet jockeys, suddenly they become a bit louder, and your louder lads, they become a bit quieter, and it's definitely a completely different atmosphere than any other day.
I was gonna say, because that sounds almost like people, you almost want not want each other to win, because you know you're all there to do the job and win the race and go in the history books, but it sounds like everybody is a team, as weird as that sounds, in a 40 strong plus competitive race of individuals. But
no, it's 100%, because every jockey in there knows that it's the Grand National. Literally anybody could win. You know, like you know, it's not like going out for a 0 to 100 at Kelso where you're pretty sure you know what's going to win. You know, and you know, the Grand National, anything can happen. So nobody's, you know, as I say, everybody's just got that mutual respect, and as I said before, that we're all going out there to try and be a part of the history books, and it's just such a big deal. That everybody's just in a sense you have got that team feeling. Like, you know, I'm lucky enough to have still played rugby at senior level and be a part of a team, and I enjoy being part of that team, and that is what it's like on Grand National Day. It's like you're all patting each other on the back before you go out, and there's no other race like that. You don't do that for any other race except that day, and it's really nice. But don't get me wrong, as soon as the tapes go back, it all changes.
The blinkers go on, so I didn't mean any of that. I'm going.
Yeah, exactly.
No, quite right. Hey, like we said before, we're all competitors trying to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know you said you don't really remember going up the home straight, but what was that feeling like when all, as we said, all the cameras suddenly turned towards you and you're Scotland's prodigal son? What's that feeling like, when the winning feeling, when somebody goes, Ryan Mania, you've just won the Grand National?
I was waiting for the stewards ding dong to go and say, oh, actually, no, you haven't won, someone else has won.
It turns out he's missed a lap. He's just run up the home straight.
You missed a fence down there somewhere. I don't know how you managed. Look, it was amazing, and it was just madness. You know, like you get people from everywhere, and you get into the winning enclosure, and everybody's there. There's no space to think to do anything, and then you weigh in, then you're off into the press conference, and it's just like, I didn't get back into the weighing room, into the changing room for like an hour. You know, like,
really?
So you know, you're out speaking to people, and you know, so it was a good hour before I was able to go in and just sit down and just try and, you know, take in what the hell had just happened. And so it was utter madness, is the best way to describe it. But you know, that was amazing, and I do remember all of that. As I say, I don't remember finishing the race, but I do remember the aftermath and everything that went down, and it just was absolute madness. But it was amazing. You know, it was like the you know, I think all jockeys are adrenaline junkies, and you know, I managed to get that adrenaline rush from, you know, the aftermath with everybody being buzzing around about you, like literally everyone was buzzing, and it was just it was an amazing feeling.
Wow, no, I can't imagine, because for me, from an outsider looking in, the Grand National is the pinnacle of horse racing, and I think it always will be considered that. So for as far as my interpretation of horse racing goes, you were the best jockey in the world for that 1 year until somebody else took the crown off you. So it must be that sort of feeling.
Well, maybe the best. Yeah.
As long as we ignore champion jockey and things like that, but you're fine.
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I'll take it.
I'd have it. You can have over an 80 minutes podcast, unofficial greatest jockey.
I tell you what, I was more upset about was, you know, in terms of Scottish sport, you know, that kind of, you know, that is, as far as racing is concerned, I can't win a bigger race. You know, like that is the pinnacle. I agree with you there. But then Andy Murray went and won Wimbledon the same year. Completely, everyone must have forgot about me. They're like, "Oh, Andy Murray's won Wimbledon. Never mind you. You're just this little Scottish jockey." So
I think you're selling yourself really short there. Everybody was very impressed, and the Borders was very proud of you. Murray's from Edinburgh. We don't associate with a big city.
Well, that's fine. That makes me feel better.
I can sense the sarcasm, but I'll take it.
Sense the sarcasm, yeah.
So, you said it took you an hour to get back to the jockeys room. What was that like when you got back in? Because obviously, I'm so interested now that you said the level of respect and everything changed in the jockeys room. Was it like champagne spraying for everybody? Was everybody buzzing for you? Or was it just a quick shake of the hand? Or
a shake of the hand, a hug. You know, just real, and it was amazingly after every time someone rides a winner, everyone will say well done in the weighing room. You know, it's just a thing. Everybody congratulates the winner, but some lads don't always mean it. You know, like you say it, but you're like, yeah, well done, but and it's just because you say it all the time. But with a race like that, people really, really mean it. Like they come up and they really say, "Look, well done, amazing, blah blah blah." So yeah, there was plenty of that. And as I say, I just took a minute, had a shower, and just tried to just come down off the high somehow. Just to try and take it all in as much as I could, which wasn't easy. But it was madness. But it just, I think it took me a long time to come. Well, actually, it took me to the next again day to relax. But that's because I ended up in hospital. But it was, it's very, very hard to actually come down from something like that. And it's very nice. The nicest part was AP McCoy, actually, was him coming up to say well done. Now he'd never done that before, and I suppose that's what makes you realize that it's that kind of race. Like that's when I say that the guys come up to you to say well done and they mean it, they really do mean it. So
well, I can only imagine. That sounds like it would have been one of the most surreal experiences from even I say from the weighing room before. I don't think I could ever even comprehend being in that situation. So credit to you and massive congratulations, as I've told you many times, about winning the race. So well done. And hopefully the horse goes and plaudits as well at the end of the day.
Yeah, oh definitely. He's the one that deserves all the he deserves all the well dones he does.
Exactly. But he's living a life of luxury now in Yorkshire, isn't he? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's enjoying his retirement.